All right, what up, folks? Corey back again, aka C Smooth, and today I will be installing my new cold air intake made by Veraram. Veraram's sell was that it could increase horsepower by up to 25 to 45%. So we're gonna give it a shot and see what we can do. The downfall is they don't really give you the greatest instructions. Quite frankly, the instructions kind of suck. You can't really see anything. Really hard to read. But so basically what I've done so far is I've taken off a portion of my intake here, and I'm going to continue removing the air box, which it's got a few 10 millimeter bolts there that hold that on. Once I get that removed, and there's a air block down in there that I got to get to. It's kind of hard to see and even harder to reach, so if you know how to get to it better, feel free to leave a comment in the bottom. I can't even really, it's so hard to see, you can't even see it on the video. But anyway, so that's step one right there. This is my first time installing this thing, so I really don't know the actual process, but I'm gonna do the best I can to show you guys how to do this and make it really easy for you so you don't have to go out and have anybody install it for you. So just keep tuning in, and I will, as I go piece by piece, show you exactly what I'm doing. All right. Okay, so now I got the air block off, which is that little thing I said that was down in here. Once I got the air filter box out of the way, it made it a little easier for me to push this forward, but the air block was right about there, and it looks like this. And it's got these little nasty clips on it that are really hard to get to due to the area that it's positioned, but they're actually really easy if you get a screwdriver and you just lift that little tab right there, and that pops up, and then the thing comes out. So, but it's quite a hassle because of where it is. Next, I'm going to be pulling the washer fluid bottle out. There are 3 bolts on this. There's one on this side, there's one, and there's 2 on the opposite side. Now, I got to figure out how to get to them. But yeah, to be continued. Okay, so next I took out the washer bottle, which actually has 3 bolts. You got one here, one in there, and one right here. So the best way to get to those is through here. Can't really see it too good here in my camera. Let me see if I can turn it sideways. So there's the bolt holes right there. Actually was pretty easy to get to. It's not that bad. Just got to make sure you got to have an extension. I got the first one out with a impact gun, just kind of make it a little faster. But I mean, you don't have to do that. If you got just wrenches and things, ratchets, that will work. But yeah, so that's coming out, and I'm going to take that pump off. I'm going to put that on the new bottle, which is this, which is going to go right there. All right, so now let's figure out how to put this bad boy back in there now. Okay, so the pump sits nice and snug, just like that. Once it's in, it's a very tiny little bolt. I didn't have the Allen size, which actually goes in between the H32 3/32 and 1/8. So I decided to use the T15, which actually fit. Just, I mean, because you're not gonna tighten this down super tight anyway, so you don't have to worry about stripping out the heads. So that's how it goes. Make sure that that little piece there goes into the notch, and you're good to go. All right, so it's the new water ball is installed. There's a small little bracket that comes with the kit that's going to hold the bracket, to hold your washer bottle in place, and just use your old OEM bolt, tighten that down, and we can refill this up with the washer fluid now, actually. And that pretty much is done. So this portion is complete. So we're gonna move on to the next step. Again, guys, this is the first time that I have done this. I've never installed this before. So we are learning together. But yeah, so far so good. It seems pretty easy. Everything seems to be going in as it should without any issue. So we'll keep rocking and rolling. Okay, so one quick important note that you want to understand when installing the next part, which is your map sensor. If you look right there, there is a little arrow. That arrow is to be aimed at where the airflow goes into the motor. I mean, obviously, well, there's really only one way. Well, actually, if you turn it the other way, you can still install it. So make sure that that's aiming in that direction towards your motor. You put it in wrong, you're going to have check engine lights. So be aware of that. Okay, so as you can see, everything is pretty much installed now. Make sure, one important thing is that your placements. So right now, we're going to just basically just run that slightly behind here on your washer pump. And what you can do is you probably want to use some zip ties, tighten that down. Actually, that's what I want to do real quick. All right, so you're going to need to find a place to secure your washer harness. Don't do it super snug, just enough where it's out of the way and it's not going to be bouncing against your exhaust. Then you're going to just place your washer hose just like that right behind there. Just kind of, just like that is fine. That'll hold it in place. All right, next thing you want to do is we're going to lay this, just kind of put that there for a second. Now, as you notice, I installed all of the hoses and clamps, but I didn't tighten anything up yet because you may need to move some stuff around before it's time to tighten it down. So we're going to put all of our clamps where they belong, and we're going to start adjusting some of the piping. See why I say you don't want to tighten anything up yet, because you want to make it fit just right first, kind of like that. Okay, once you got it in place, make sure you don't have any air leaks. Air leaks lead to check engine lights, and that's what we don't want to have. So let's go ahead and tighten that up. You don't have to spend a lot of money on tools, guys. Just get you a couple of get you a little regular screwdriver. Nothing spectacular. I prefer to use on these because the head is actually designed for a 8mm socket. So what I like to do after I move it down, or you can do it beforehand actually, is use an 8mm socket. Make sure you got this on just right, nice and snug. And then you can use your 8mm. Well, actually, probably want to put an extension on that first. And tighten that down. Again, keep in mind, make sure it's nice and snug. Remember this phrase, loose creates leaks. So keep that in mind when you're tightening it down. Make sure that's not right on the intake. And then run that down nice and snug. For look value, you can cut this excess off if you don't want to have all that stuff showing. Actually, I prefer to put those on the bottom side so that they're not seen. Okay, next we're going to adjust this side. And just tighten this down a little bit first because once I get it in place, I want to have it nice and snug there. Actually, I prefer to put these on the bottom. It just makes it look a little bit better. Okay. Well, it's a little more difficult to tighten up like this. Again, for looks purposes, you want to hide this stuff. You know, if you're gonna go to car shows and different things like that, you want to have that stuff kind of hidden. So you just want to make it look good. A little bit of a fight. I may have to do it the opposite direction because I got a little more room that way. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. All right, pause. So, I opted to go ahead and just leave it on this side. I'm just going to cut this excess piece off here. I'll loosen this up, bring this down. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to do this. This is solely if you just want the look. Me personally, I'm a perfectionist, so I like to have more of the look than, well, I mean, obviously I want function, but with functionality, I want an actual nice, professionally done look. So if somebody asks, you can say, you did this, because they're going to assume that you went and paid somebody to install these things. All right, that was nice and snug. I had to loosen this one back up to make up for the difference in play right there. So I'm gonna tighten that back down now. Make sure that's nice and secured in there. And I just decided to go ahead and use the ratchet to do this. It just makes it a little bit easier. Actually, that's not where I want it. I like to have mine like right on the edge. Not only does it look better, but it also ensures a nice snug fit. And again, loose creates leaks. Okay, that's nice and snug. Also, another thing I noted, Actually, shoot, that got turned some. So you're gonna have to add this. You're gonna take off the old one, which no longer works. It doesn't work with this system. And you have to add this PVC pipe. Now what I need to do actually is bring that down just a little bit, because I don't want it to hit my hood. So the angle is going to be slightly turned this way, not all the way over, because you don't want it to rub against your throttle body, but just enough to where it's not impeding anything. All right, and there you have it. So now everything's been installed. As you can see, all of the components are where they belong. That's nice and snug right there. That doesn't have to be super tight. If you want to add a clamp there, you can. It's totally up to you, but it's extremely hard to reach. But if you want, you can do that, but it's pretty snug. And that's pretty much it, folks. Not too bad. Everything fit just like it's supposed to, as they said it would. There's the washer cap. And there you go. Now, if you're not going to tune your car, now this is very important. If you're not going to tune, then you want to unplug your negative battery cable for about 2 hours. That way the ECM does a complete reset, or what we call a hard reset. And then you will start your car after that 2 hours, not a moment earlier, and let it run for about 15-20 minutes. Yeah, don't worry about the dirt. I'm going to clean that off. That looks so dusty. Yeah, it's been dusty here lately in Atlanta. But yeah, that's it, man. It's pretty cut and dry. Didn't take a lot of time. It took, had I known exactly what I was doing, you probably could have done this in maybe 20 minutes. It took me a little bit longer, maybe about 45 minutes, but you know, all in all, it actually is not that bad. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below, and we'll see you next time.